Greetings one and all, and welcome to Zayfard Plays Civilization Beyond Earth Rising Tides. So yes, this is going to be the very first gameplay episode of my new series. For those of you who haven't already seen episode 1, episode 1 was basically a setup video. In fact, I'm probably going to call that setup and call this one episode 1. Haven't decided yet, but that's probably what's going to happen. So for those who decide to skip the first episode, the setup episode, I'll just give a quick rundown on how we've done this. It's a standard map size, with standard pace. I have chosen scientists, colonial survey, raw materials and random world, so I know nothing about this, and I will of course be playing the North Sea Alliance. And that's everyone up to speed. Let's get the game started. So as I did briefly mention in the setup video, I've only really had a little play with this game. I've spent about half hour, had a little look at a couple of different races, but not really done a lot. There's still a lot for me to discover, and I haven't done anything in the aquatic cities. So I've chosen to go North Sea Alliance, so I do play with the aquatic cities. That is the point, so I am going to start at sea. So, without further ado, I think I'm going to take... much for muchness, really, isn't it? It really is much for muchness. I'm going to take this tile as my first city.
You have founded an aquatic city. Aquatic cities work just like land cities, but with two key differences. First, aquatic cities do not grow with culture. They only claim the plots adjacent to the city when the city is founded. Instead, to claim new territory, aquatic cities require their second special ability. Aquatic cities can move. These cities float and can travel around the map. Whenever the city moves, it claims the tiles adjacent to its new location. This is how aquatic cities gain their territory. They can still buy plots with energy, however.
Okay. Good to know. Now, as I'm sort of semi-new to this, I will be, well actually when I say semi, sort of heavily new to this, I will be sort of reading an awful lot of the advice stuff and listening through it as much as I can. Also, whenever the other races are talking, whenever there's the, you've just leveled up, you've just got a new tech, I will be listening to that, because, in honesty, I really do enjoy those. And hopefully you guys will too. I mean, if not, please let me know in the comments, and I will consider changing accordingly. I've got to be honest, there'll need to be a lot of people saying, we hate this, before I'll cut down, but please tell me, this is not all just about me, this is about all of us. So, let's get started. We can see the world, we can see the edge, and it does seem to be one giant continent. Which is... okay. Yeah, it really is one giant continent. So this is going to be an interesting game. Not what I anticipated, but that's good. A lot of little archipelagos around here. I think that's the word for it. Could be wrong. If I am, please correct me. But yeah, that's pretty nice little world we've got here. Okay, well let's start with some production in Deep Castle. Right, actually, let's have a closer look. I do like that city. It's it reminds me of a North Sea oil rig, to be honest. It's like really cool about that. Yes, let's start with some production, and of course I can choose as Old Earth Relic, so let's have an Old Earth Relic. Now, research. Now, anyone who's played this game before, you may notice some slight changes to the tech web. They've made the text a little bit more generalized when it comes to your affinities. So, while you still have, say, physics will give you purity, same with ballistics, you'll find there are going to be some, and I saw one earlier, yeah, like mechatronics, which will give you purity and supremacy, and robotics, which is supremacy and harmony. So it's just a nice little change to it, which means, you don't have to go and focus on this one tech to get the specific affinity you want. You have a lot more range and a lot more ability. That's really nice. Now, I need to decide which one I want first. I think pioneering, in all honesty. One of the other nice things, actually, I'll just go over this briefly, is the new affinity system, where you still shows you what your affinities like, towards purity, harmony and supremacy, but you now also get hybrid affinities, which give you some bonuses. How this works, I actually don't know. It's not something I've really had a proper play with. I didn't get far enough to actually have that, so I am looking forward to finding out what this is going to do. Ooh, generator device. That's really quite, really looking forward to that. Explorer. Well, as I've found a progenitor device, and I've got this here Explorer, I'm going to be going for that. And there's an awful lot of pods. Wow. Okay, I'm just going to blink. No, it's not getting rid of them. Okay, fine. Victory conditions. Yes, I suppose now would be a very good time for me to go over the victory condition I'm going to be going for. I like to start, me personally, when I'm playing Beyond Earth, having a very clear victory in mind before I start. And in this one, I just have to make sure I'm choosing the right one. That one. That was it. So yes, with this particular game, I've decided we're going to save Earth. That is our goal. We're sent out from Earth that was, and our goal is to save her people. We're going to be going for the promised land victory condition. So, the story behind this one. When we left Earth, we swore an oath to find a new world and bring about the salvation of mankind. Despite all we have endured, we have held firm, our people ever close to our hearts. Though our endless struggle and vigilance, we have tamed this planet in the name of humanity. Our earthbound brethren have waited long enough. It is time we complete our mission and deliver them to the stars. Long has there been silence between ourselves and Earth. Before we can begin our plans, we must first re-establish contact, something we have yet to be able to achieve. We must focus our research towards an advanced orbital infrastructure. By achieving this and launching a LASCOM satellite into orbit, we should be able to make contact with Earth. And that is what we're going for. Now, so this will actually be the second victory condition I've done, because I normally do Transcendence, which is... I won't spoil the ending, but it's not a happy ending in many respects. But it is really quite cool. I do like a lot of the stuff they do with the victory conditions here. This is... They put a lot of effort into that. Resource pod. You have found a portable reactor and fuel source inside the resource pod. You are able to activate it despite some damage from landing, providing 60 energy. Ah, new quest. Our sponsor had the foresight to send resource pods ahead of our expedition to be waiting when we arrived. Parts to a larger research instrument have been found in this pod. The other pieces are probably around here somewhere. So we need to find 2 resource pods, which is, in all honesty, it's a pretty standard opening to the game. It's... I think it does that in every single playthrough, even from Beyond Earth. But, it's always good to know where you start. So that's where we're going. And I really want to see what's in these progenitor runes. I know... Oh, we have an alien nest, that's always a worry. I know the ancient alien remains, open up a specific quest line, and there's another ancient alien city which does the same, I believe. Now this, we're going to see one of the changes that for me, I love. These guys have landed. That's all we know. Back in the original Beyond Earth, we would have known exactly who they were, everything about them. Here, we know nothing. Love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah, that's just the way I love to play this. And actually, we found another resource pod, so I'm going to go and capture that one.
You have an aquatic city that is able to move. Moving water cities allows them to claim the plots adjacent to their new location and is the primary way to expand water territory. You should try moving your city towards valuable terrain or resources.
Thank you, I will have a look at that at some point. In fact, actually, what is my special ability? I looked at it earlier and I can't remember for the life of me. Where the diplomacy is? Yeah. So yeah, one of the changes with this game, well, not with this game, with this expansion, is you now have personality traits, which are really cool. There are extra ways to adapt your people to make them more specialised to how you like to play. Now you have 4 versions. You have character, which is set in stone. That is what it is, you just have to deal with it. For this guy, for the sea-based guys, for the North Sea Alliance, it's all aquatic city based. So you have aquatic cities have 50% more combat strength and cost 50% less to move. Now you will gain throughout the game diplomatic capital with the new resource. You see just here I'm gaining 3 a turn. And when you have 150, you can unlock another perk. Now you can spend that perk to upgrade something you already have, so I could upgrade my Indefatigable, which will give me then 60% combat boost and 60% less cost to move. Or I could unlock stuff from politics or domestic or military, which unfortunately I can't look at till I have enough diplomatic capital. It's a shame. There are also some other interesting things that go along. The new diplomacy, and the diplomacy is very, very different. It's the original diplomacy in Beyond Earth was basically a reskin of Civ 5's diplomacy. There may have been some minor differences, but nothing significant at all. In all honesty, I'm only even saying there might have been to hedge my bets. I did not spot anything different. It would all be under the hood stuff. With Rising Tides, it's a total and utter rebuild. They've thrown out the old diplomacy and started again. And from what I've seen, I think it is so much better for. Okay, so we've now got another resource pod. Inside the resource pod you find a basic satellite still intact, and enough rocket fuel for it to reach escape velocity. A free solar collector is now ready to launch for us. Now ready for launch in the city of Deep Castle. Fantastic! Well then, let's launch that into orbit. You know what, I think I'm going to move this guy over here just to see how it works, so yeah, let's get the orbit up there. So yeah, let's say the new diplomacy I really like, and it does feel really different, which just gives this game its own unique feel. New quest, found an outpost. For our colony to prosper, we should consider expanding. We should focus our efforts on researching how to create new outposts for the colony, which I believe I am already doing. Double check, yep, pioneering, so I am already doing that, which is really good. That unit needs orders. I really want to know what that progenitor device is and what happens. Deep Castle has increased in size, which is fantastic. Okay. Is that plankton? Very nice. Yeah, there's a lot of new resources now we're at sea. So it's interesting to see. I'm looking forward to seeing how this all works actually. First, I'm going to start this expedition on the progenitor ruins, and that is fantastic. Sort of see the little sub fall out from the centre, the attention to detail on this, I just love it. It's just brilliant. So yeah, that's going to be 5 turns, and Deep Castle's now complete. So, you know what? I'm going to move the city. Yeah, I'm going to move the city. Is that working? Oh, so only certain places I can move to. Okay, so I'm going to move the city here, largely to see what it does, in all honesty. I say this is new. I didn't even realise I couldn't move it there. So it must be at the moment I need to keep shallow water. Well, that's interesting to know. That is definitely very interesting to know. So, 5 turns before that moves, and we get to find out what it does. Ooh, a marvel discovered. That's no mountain. A nearby colony has discovered the remains of an enormous creature on the planet's surface. Most of the remains are underground, otherwise they most likely wouldn't have been noticed by our orbital infrastructure. Otherwise they most likely would have been noticed by our orbital operations. Carbon dating has determined the remains are thousands of years old. A being this size shouldn't even exist, let alone survive intact for millennia. And that is just... I have seen this one before. This is a really cool little quest line. I do like... There's at least a couple of that type of quests in the game, where somebody will discover something, so one of the civilizations will discover something, and then everyone else has to go around doing research, get bonuses for their civilization. And that's just the alien auto. That is really cool. Okay. A lot of people on the edge. And we have our first virtue. Fantastic. Now, I always like starting with knowledge. You know, boosting science just works for me in this game. It's something I don't do as much in Galactic Civilizations, but in the Civilization franchise, I really focus very heavily, very early on science. Expedition complete. Your expedition team discovers that the mysterious progenitor device generates its own form of weak radiation. The team used this phenomenon to conduct experiments not possible elsewhere, and discovered how best to manipulate this planet's ecosystem and advance ourselves. As a result, we have gained 12 affinity experience points towards purity. Fantastic! And this is one of the other new features, artifacts. Now, artifacts, basically a device you can do special research on, which, to be honest, it happens instantly, which will give you boost to production, to research, to pretty much any resource you care to mention. The other nice things they can do is if you have enough of them, which is 3, you can actually merge 3 together, they will give you a special benefit, which could be a bonus. I believe a passive bonus of, you know, things taking less time in general. I think. Or more definite ones of, here's a building you can have. So it does open up new ideas to you. Now, this one is a sporadic listener, which is the condition known as warn. There are different conditions. What they do, I don't know. I genuinely don't know what difference those make, actually. No one's quite sure what this is, but occasionally it responds to a human visitor's presence. Well, let's look at the library, and you'll see what the research is. So what you'll do, you'll drag them here, and you'll see what bonus they get, which is 96 energy and 6 science for this device. Now I'm not going to take that, I definitely want more.
How much joy can this new planet hold, when all I can think of is everything I've left behind?
This is great news, I've got upgrades before I've even started building units. Yeah, now one of the things I will be doing in this game is, because I am going to go down purity. I decided that before the start, but the fact we've already got a boost in purity is fantastic. So I am going to be heavily focused on wiping out aliens, because the way I see it as a story vision, we are making a new Earth. Alien scavengers do not exist on Earth, so they must not exist on New Earth. That's my argument. So yes, I will be sort of wiping them out and starting to get soldiers quite early on. So we've already got upgrades for our units, which is really nice. Our soldiers will upgrade. Base upgrade. I mean, I love the new look of this. So I can get 25%, 15% when attacking, and plus 4 strength, or plus 5 healing when not embarked. I'm going to take the attacking. They don't change those. That's cool. And patrol boat, which is one of the new vehicles. So what bonus? Bonus against naval, bonus against naval melee or naval range. As far as I understand, most of them are naval range, so I'm going to take that. So yeah, some nice upgrades. I'll have to start getting some boats. But first, there's the new aliens, the alien scarabs, which we are going to turn into a fine paste. Sorry guys, you are not to be seen on a new Earth. Some progenitor ruins. Resource pod. Fantastic, we'll take that. Quest decision. It's clear that the indigenous species of this planet may pose a threat to our growth. Though we cannot determine their intelligence, their hostility has been documented. Moving forward, we must decide how to deal with them. We attempt to domesticate the local wildlife, or exterminate it. We are of course going to eradicate it and become even more pure. Ooh, okay, I've not seen that before. Maybe because I normally go for Harmony Boot. The potential threat that these aliens pose is far too great. We must protect our homes and our citizens by organising a preemptive strike against the local wildlife. So we're going to have to wipe out 2 nests. And I know there's a nest nearby, I just don't know where. There's another resource pod. Hey, let's start with a cutter. I have no idea what they do. They're all new to me. Artifact acquired, resource pod, yep, so next turn. We can... ooh. Yeah, some nice sea aliens. Another new race, actually. Another new alien species, the Ripper. I think they're basically a weaker sea unit, but I'm not 100% sure. Inside the resource pod, you found a collection of goods and luxuries from old Earth that your people never thought they would see again. These rally and refocus your people, providing 20 culture. Fantastic. All pieces of the instruments are accounted for. Our scientists will make good use of these instruments sent from Earth. We have a boost to our science. So, quite a lot's happened this turn, which is really good to see. So another objective has been completed. Found an outpost. Well, next stage is ready. Research has completed, and we can now construct the mobile machinery needed to found an outpost. We now need to build the colonist.
The universe is either in progress or in entropy. We choose progress.
So this is how we've got the ability to now start making colony vessels. And I am going to probably put them on land, to be honest. While I like the sea is awesome, I'd like some things on solid ground at the moment. We'll see how we go. Best decision. I remember these. So yeah, what you'll tend to find, to anyone who hasn't played Beyond Earth, is that when you create a building type, most of the time when you build the first of a new building type, you'll get a quest decision to decide how you want to specialise these to the way you like to play. So this is our first one, is the Old Earth Relic. Our relic has provoked an ideological split amongst our citizens. Some believe the Old Earth Relic is instrumental as a source of solace for the grief people feel over their lost world. They want it left in revered place as a shrine. Others think it represents a valuable repository of traditional wisdom that must be studied and displayed publicly if humanity is to embrace their new home. So we can leave the Old Earth Relic untouched, and it won't cost us any energy to maintain, or open it to the public and get extra culture. I would like the extra culture. Relics will be made a public resource accessible like any library for any citizen to examine their content. Early reports indicate they are already spurring new insight into our way of life. So that's fantastic. Relics will now give us extra culture. And now, new research project. So we can get... I think we're going to go Planetary Survey, which allows us to move our aquatic cities onto ocean tiles. And it will require less production to move the city. So that's what I'm going for. Next, we get a new virtue, which is fantastic. I think I'm going to go... field research. We'll get extra science from expeditions, which is always good. This guy, let's move him into Deep Castle to replenish his expedition modules, so we can start getting the research. Okay. Well, let's wipe out the scarabs first. Excellent. So those scarabs are gone. An awful lot of aliens nearby. You know, in my heart of hearts I feel bad for doing that, but I know we are playing this as a game and playing this as a storyline. And I love the way these cities are expanding. It's just something lovely about these aquatic cities, just the way they change, sort of like an oil rig. Praxis have actually done a really good job with this game. I do love the way they've done it. It does look magnificent. Oh wow, yeah, there's quite a lot of aliens nearby. Hey, we have a new virtue. Laboratory apprenticeship. That seems like a good one to me, actually. Even more science. We'll science as hard as we can. And when we have scienced as hard as we can, we'll science some more. Seems like a good plan to me. Oh. Oh dear. That's not good. They've already wiped out one of our units. That's just not cricket. I say, I am displeased by this. Really have shown you are a massive threat to our way of life. Not the best move to do when you are close combat units. And I am... well, let's face it, I have missiles. Bad combination. Okay, so that's quite a few of the cities now there. Okay, the cutter's not far away, so I can start raining down death on them. I think. Now these guys I recognised. They're the ones who destroyed my survey team. I do not approve the destruction of our explorer.
All planets possess inherent value, and establishing the exact dollar value of the property should be a priority.
That's a hideous way of looking at it, I reckon. Okay, what do we want next? I think physics is always good. What do I want? Submarine. Now I'll go physics so we can get our science boosted, and gives us a ranger. And I have to say the ranger is pretty much my favourite unit in this game. Now it may change now we've got this, because I have to say the sub's new to Rising Tides, and what little I've tried of the sub, I love it. It's a fantastic little vessel. But there's something about the ranger that is always the backbone of my armies. Is always the backbone. Okay, and we have a cutter. Ah, so that's a close combat. Okay. Well, that's good to know. We'll get them to go and explore these alien remains. Here, I could have gunboat for range, or I could go for marine, which that's pointless right now. Okay, let's go for the rudder. Oh no, that takes a lot as well. Trade depot. Let's go for the trade depot. And have I got anything near? Yes, I'm going to buy up this plot so I can start getting a bit more production there, because Deep Castle does not have great production right now, which is a real shame. Okay, so we are now on an ancient alien remains, which is one of the quests. We can now, and it now uses these military units to do a biopsy of this. Strength and decay. Our colony has discovered new alien remains. Like the first, most of this massive creature this massive creature remains hidden in the earth. However, the specimen's skull is especially well preserved. Even some ancient brain tissue remains intact. Research into this soft tissue reveals a supersized version of a familiar brain anatomy, a spinal cord many meters in diameter, individual neurons you can hold in your hand. With more samples like this, our colony could learn far more about alien anatomy than we do today. We should locate more. So we need to now get 5 more alien biopsies done. Now, I know this is only one of a couple of different ways we can do these. Different quests like this. There's the alien city one at least, and I have no idea what else. And they're all this sort of idea. Go and do this X amount of times, which, you know what? It really is quite fun. It's a really interesting storylines in these. They've put a lot of work into this, and actually, it's really good fun. Now I am really happy with this game actually so far. You know, it has made the difference in my view compared to the original. Ooh, another resource pod, fantastic. And Deep Castle has increased in size as well, even better. Okay, let's send our cutter in to get the resource pod, and another virtue, fantastic. Inside the resource pod, you found a collection of goods and luxuries from old Earth that your people never thought they would see again. So we have a boost to our culture again. And a new artifact. A battered one. Silver-pointed navigational gyroscope. A navigational instrument used to locate a spacecraft's position relative to Earth. With the advent of extraplanetary space ventures, the demand for instrumentation used to locate Earth became increasingly important to astronauts and cosmonauts. That's quite nice, they're sort of doing both the American and Russian style. This invention from the Silver Point Company allowed space travellers to rest a bit easier, knowing Earth was 90% guaranteed to be in that direction. 90%, I'm not sure I'd be happy with that little. So yes, that's an old Earth relic. So that'll give us a boost to science. And as I mentioned earlier, we can have more than one artifact at once. So if we put this in, it'll give us the boost to science and to energy. But that's it. Now if we get one more relic, it'll actually give us something special at the end, which I'm going to hold out for. See what it is. Now what we can also see here is another new type of seabound alien. They are the hydrocoral. Now these are somewhat different. These are basically just get in your way. They don't attack you, they just sit there, block the route, they're just a roadblock. But they do seem to be quite dangerous, and they will just spawn and grow, so it won't just be one, there'll be another one side by side, so this is going to grow and become more dangerous. So I think we're going to try and take those out. Especially if there's an alien skeleton here, which I would like an expedition team to go to. First use of the cutters, and that did a lot of damage. However, I think I'm going to leave it here for now. I know we have a virtue to choose, and we're going to choose that in the next episode. So I do hope you've enjoyed this episode. I do hope you enjoyed, the new starting idea of us having a setup video and a main video. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments. If I do another series of any 4X game, would you like me to do it that way again? Or would you prefer to have it as one big video? I say, just post those in the comments, and I'll take them into account with the next series. However, I do hope you'll join me tomorrow night's episode, where we will continue exploring, and to be honest, taking out this hydrocoral and exploring the alien skeleton. But, until then, farewell.